Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken not given, joined by the man I am most thankful for, John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, realizing we didn't change the banners before we went live, like a bunch of amateurs. But This is our Ask Us Anything Left Wing Q&A show. So I would love to hear from people in the comments, any questions you have from us. It's kind of like a weird news cycle where it's important stuff, but we're back in a little bit of a not changing period, just little things here and there.
Yeah. I thought about when you said you feel like a bunch of amateurs. I feel like one. So for those of you who don't know, the way we do these episodes, the Thursday episodes, we alternate doing clips for them every week. And I didn't do any last week, like zero. I don't know if John
I didn't even notice.
I did zero. Listen, this has been a very busy time for everyone involved, and like me especially, I guess, because I need some excuse for why I didn't do any clip. That was it. But not only that, but I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the news. I don't even have any clips ready. I always, at least throughout the week, I find random clips and stuff, and I prop them for the show. I got nothing, and I just kind of spur of the moment. I thought, oh, it's October. I know that when I was in college, I remember learning that Canadian Thanksgiving was in October and not in November. I said, oh, okay. I knew a few Canadian students in school, and I asked them, hey, what is you guys' Thanksgiving story? Because like our Thanksgiving story is shoved down our throat at, some 9 years old. We all know it backward and forward. I was like, what's the Canadian one? And I got two different answers from 3 or 4 different people. Most of it was, oh, I don't really know our story. And then the other ones were, oh, we kind of just stole it from you guys. Like, wow, Canada. Wow, you guys don't even have your own goddamn Thanksgiving story. That's pretty depressing. If you're just going to steal our holiday, you might as well celebrate it at the same time we do. Why do you do it a month early? I don't know. Have you ever heard about that, John?
I never heard. I didn't even realize it was the same holiday. Like when I saw the title, I didn't know what you're talking about, and then I thought there was going to be some story, and you kind of just this is the most lackluster reveal ever. It's just like, yeah, no, they just copied us. That's the Canadian Thanksgiving story. It's the same as ours.
I actually, so that's all I ever heard about it when I was in college. And then right before I typed that, I was like, well, let me see. There's got to be more to this. And then I looked it up on the Google machine, and it said Canadians trace their history of Thanksgiving back to the 1500s, like a similar thing. But the first Canadian Thanksgiving wasn't established as an official holiday until I think 1875, I think is when it said. Thanksgiving was established for us 1863. So I'm buying that. Yeah, they just ripped it off from us. Like, oh, the Americans look, they're having a grand old time down there, having a turkey party every Thursday. We'll do ours in October. Which October is a more fall-y type of month. Like November is like pre-winter, basically. October is what I think of with fall. So good move there, I think, putting it in October. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, no, I think that it would be funny. I can't think of a good name for it, but instead of it being thankfulness, it's like apologies. That would be the Canadian version of Thanksgiving. Speaking of minute holidays that bastardize the actual historic origin of the holiday.
Yes, amen, brother. Can make America great again.
Favorite Italian sex criminal and murderer you're not allowed to criticize. In parentheses, not Andrew Cuomo.
Oh no! Who is this other person they're talking about? They're talking about like Berlusconi or something. Like who are they
talking about? The great saint of yesterday, Christopher Columbus.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes, I should have got the theme with the minor holiday part. Sorry, yes. John. I was like,
TJ's way off today. It's like, not TJ's best day, guys.
No. Yeah, I thought about that actually yesterday, or when was Columbus Day? Yesterday, and I still had to work yesterday, even though it's like a government-ish type of organization, but it's a lefty one. We got to pretend that we're nonpartisan because when we work with Republicans, which is super majorities in the House and the Senate in Indiana, you kind of gotta play patty cake with them, and you can't take government funding and say that you're a partisan organization. So you kind of gotta play ball with that. But we don't take Columbus Day off because we're a bunch of libs. And I was thinking that when I said that we should move Thanksgiving to October to give October a true holiday, because I hate taking a holiday away from working people, right? Like that's not cool. And so then replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. People try that, but come on, we all know it's Columbus Day, right? We all know. You're not fooling anybody. So I wish we could remove Thanksgiving to October because it makes more sense as an October holiday. And Thanksgiving already has Veterans Day, so you still got, or November already has Veterans Day, so you keep a holiday in the month. That's what I think.
I always, so Columbus Day is this thing that every year I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. It's dumb and stupid. And then every year I end up going on a diatribe because it is one of our dumbest holidays that we celebrate. We celebrate a lot of dumb holidays, but just like all the way down the list, there's no reason to celebrate Christopher Columbus. And, we could talk about how he's, a prolific child sex trafficker, committed a genocide, all of these things, very bad things, right? I'm not saying they're not bad, but the primary reason that Columbus Day pisses me the fuck off as an American holiday is that he never stepped foot in the goddamn continental United States. It's like that's the thing. It's just there's no part of this man that should be celebrated as a holiday in the United States of America, and conservatives wear this on their shoulder. I'm going to take pride in celebrating Christopher Columbus. And if you ask them, they don't even have a fucking reason. It's just because the libs told us not to, so we're going to celebrate it. That's basically it. Anything that you say, oh, it's for Italian American, make it Italian American Heritage Day. Make some fucking saint. There's got to be an Italian saint somewhere that we can make a St. Patty's Day, but for Italian people. Like, there's so many better. Amerigo Vespucci, name right there in the fucking America. The conservatives should go ape shit for that. But no, we can't have change. We can't change this because this is what we were taught as kids. And if we start changing things, then, oh my God, my life is over.
John, you're never going to guess which month is Italian American Heritage Month.
Is it October?
It's October. It's October. It's October.
It's so funny. It's a dumb holiday. Why does it exist? Colby says Tony Soprano would like a word with you. Oh my God. I remember watching that as a kid. Not as a kid, obviously, but I guess like a teenager and being like, wow, he really gives a shit about Columbus Day. And that's so unbelievable. Like, who's ever cared about Columbus Day?
Let me tell you something, AJ. In this house, Christopher Columbus is American hero. End of story. Yeah, it is kind of funny. And yes, this holiday was just made to appease Italian Americans and try to get them, because folks got to realize Christopher Columbus being held up by like white people as this like hero and everything is super funny because they wouldn't have considered Christopher Columbus white not too long ago. Like, not too long in the past, Italians weren't even considered white. So it's funny that, it's a tool of white supremacy now. Uh-huh. But yeah, with Christopher Columbus, so John mentioned that he never set foot on the continental United States, which, I mean, technically it doesn't matter with, the whole New World part, but for an American holiday, for Americans to really take a lot of pride in this, is like, yeah, the guy was in the Caribbean. The guy had no clue Florida existed. He had no idea there was this massive 2 continents that he hadn't even run across yet.
He didn't intentionally come here. It was an accident to hit the Americas in the first place. And he's not the first guy. Leif Erikson is. Leif Erikson will make a hell of a lot more sense. He's just a guy who happened to hit the Americas on accident, cause a genocide, sell a bunch of children to sex slavery, go back home, rule as a tyrant, and get thrown in jail. So even the people are like, oh, you have to judge him by the standards of his time. He died in prison, guys. He was not a good person. There's nothing worth celebrating.
It is crazy. Folks do like saying that you got to judge people, by their time, which honestly. Yes. Also, you don't. First off, I'm sure that these people, well, maybe not all of them, but most of them you talk to would say, yeah, Adolf Hitler's a pretty bad guy. Well, he also was a product of his time. Okay. And everyone in Germany was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, this is what we do. I mean, they weren't, they had lots about the British monarchy was on the side of Adolf Hitler with, who was his name? Edward the 8th, I think, who was the king before he abdicated. He was a big fan of Hitler. A lot of the people's family were. There were rallies for the Nazis in the United States. It wasn't like it was a 90-10 consensus that, oh yeah, Hitler's a bad guy. No, he had plenty of fans back then. And Christopher Columbus, he was so awful that 16th century monarchs were like, no, this guy is going a little bit. This guy is going a little bit too far, and cutting off people's hands, selling 10-year-old girls as sex slaves. I mean, he doesn't come right out and say they're sex slaves. Why else is anyone buying a 10-year-old girl? Like, what do you think is happening here? And with Christopher Columbus, it's important that John mentioned that he accidentally discovered the United States. Oh, Heather wrote, typical Canada, stealing stuff from the United States. I know, right? You can't trust these people as far as you can throw them. But Christopher Columbus set out to find Asia. He was, everyone knew that you could head east and go to Asia, but they knew the world was round. Like everyone back then kind of knew the world was round, probably more than today. And he said, you know what? They thought the Pacific Ocean was just way too big, that there's no way you had enough water and food and supplies to keep a ship alive, 2 trips there, to Asia and back. So Christopher Columbus had some new math, though. I don't know if you knew this one, John, but Christopher Columbus is like, everyone says the world is round. I don't think it is. Christopher Columbus actually didn't believe the Earth was round. He believed the Earth was shaped like a pear. This is what Christopher Columbus believed the world looked like. So he thought that Europe was up at the tip of the pear right there, and that you could kind of go around and get to Asia that way. And that's why he went on this trip, because everyone else thought it was insane. Like, no, you're going to die in the Pacific Ocean. He was just lucky. The Earth was not shaped like a pear at all. And he just happened to run into the United States. And when he got there, that's why he called the people Indians. He thought that he had landed in India. He didn't realize he was in a new continent the entire time. He went back to Europe. Saying, folks, I found it. I found a way to get to Asia from the Pacific Ocean. And then John mentioned Amerigo Vespucci's like, huh, really? And then he does some math. He's like, no, man, this is actually a brand new place, which is why they're called the Americas. So yeah, if anyone does deserve a holiday for that, I think Amerigo Vespucci does, because I mean,
he's Italian. The name sounds more Italian. It's got America right in there. Like there's no reason to celebrate Christopher Columbus when we could do Amerigo Vespucci instead. Every single reason you could potentially maybe give for Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci is a better person to do.
I think, and that could be like, I think that could be a good compromise between the right wingers and the lefties. It's like, okay, listen, Christopher Columbus, but we'll give you another white guy. All right, we'll give you another white guy, someone that you guys are cool with. We'll make the Italian Americans happy, and plus, I mean, look, that's a feat that does deserve honoring. Like figuring out, can you imagine doing the math on this? And it's like, I'm about to tell everybody my conclusion. Say what, John?
On paper,
yeah. You're
sitting abacus.
He's sitting there with his abacus and his quill pen, and he's there just scribbling away. And he's like, hold on, let me do this again. He goes, I had to check that math 5, 6, 7 times before I said, I'm confident enough to go out there and say, nope, folks, these are brand new continents we're out there. I got to respect the balls on that.
That's wild. I don't know. Columbus Day always just gets me in a tizzy, TJ. It's just, as I said, it's just bad examples all the way down. I forgot Amerigo Vespucci was the guy that told Christopher Columbus no. I forgot that it was related like that. I forgot that Christopher Columbus didn't know he was in America.
He didn't know
when he was in the Americas. That is so funny. I fucking love it.
Which makes it even funnier that, like, we have to, if you want to honor anything about Christopher Columbus, it would be like, I don't know, audacity or something. Because look, I got to give him credit there. Christopher Columbus, like everyone around him said, you sail out the Pacific Ocean, you will die. There's nothing there.
Elon Musk of his time.
Yeah, I got to admit, like that was pretty daring. I would not have signed up for that mission if I was a 15th century sailor, and like, yeah, we're gonna go. Nope, sorry, price can't be big enough here. I don't understand, but
I think it's wild. People used to just sail like that's one of those things about humanity where I'm just like, people for centuries got on a wooden fucking boat and just sailed off into the ocean where anything could happen. Giant storm could come. Whatever, like that concept we take for granted, but is utterly insane. Like those were insane people that spread humanity across, I guess not across the globe, but maybe caused more bad than good, but still, they were crazy people that gave us the world that we live in today.
I whenever I see like replicas of those wooden ships or one that they have laying around or something like that, and you think about how dangerous. You guys ever been out in the ocean at night and just how terrifying, like you cannot describe the darkness, like you cannot see a thing, and there's nothing to see, by the way. It's just endless scape of ocean and death waiting for you, creatures that are nightmarish horrors beyond your human comprehension are just surrounding you. A storm, any random storm, boom, it's over for you. And that's on like modern vessels. Thinking about them being like, whenever you see that, it's like, wow, these guys really wanted to colonize. They really fucking wanted to do it, to get on those ships out there and brave all that. Seeing like how they had to take a shit in the piss. They had like these like pieces of wood hanging over the boat, and you just sat down and did your business into the ocean, like the open ocean all around you. And the water supply running out was a huge deal too. We think about the food a lot, but you can't drink seawater, and desalination wasn't really an option. It's not like you could, set up fires and canisters for condensation and stuff. Even if you could, you'd burn all the wood quick. You'd run out in a hurry, and the boat is moving. It's not a stationary object. So, that's what. And I read this one thing a while ago about how they would clean the water, because the water would go rancid quick. You can't just put a bunch of water in barrels and leave it there for months. It's going to get bad. So they would have to rotate the waters in the barrel over and over again. They started putting silver coins in there because the silver coins had antibacterial measures in it. Yeah. So that was one way they tried to keep the water clean. And eventually some pirates or something stumbled on accident some way to keep the water pure. And that was by charring the inside of the barrels. And they realized when they charred the barrels, it kind of created a barrier. Well, they didn't realize about bacteria or anything like that, but that's what ended up happening. It created a barrier for bacteria to form, and the water would stay clean a lot longer. And that's what led to what are they called? The distillers, or people who make alcohol, charring the inside of the barrels, trying to get the flavor in there. It kind of came from people trying to find a way to survive in the ocean. Pretty crazy.
It's wild, that shit. The shoulders of giants on which we stand. I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back 100 years. I'd just kill myself. Like it wouldn't be worth it. Like it's over. I can't imagine the life of a 16th century sailor. Let alone TJ. Like people did this like at fucking Leif Erikson. That was like 1000 AD. That's insane. I just cannot believe anyone ever did that. The one thing you did mention though, TJ, that Amerigo Vespucci Day would be a good compromise. I will say, making it Indigenous Peoples Day, that was just asking for it. Like that. Like I understand why. I get it. Don't get me wrong, but like you're already trying to change a holiday, which is kind of a difficult thing to do, because the federal government doesn't control what people celebrate. It can control what things are named, and then making it something which the people who are going to be most resistant to this change are going to be least likely to adapt. That was just dumb. It was a dumb move. If they wanted to make Indigenous Peoples Day, they should have made it another day and changed Christopher Columbus Day to Amerigo Vespucci Day or Italian Heritage Day or something like that. Doing both at the same time, that was they were a little too close to the sun.
Yeah, we love stepping on rakes like that and just fucking up the move altogether. That was bad. Well, then again, it may not have mattered. Because I have to say, one of the cleanest ones, Juneteenth. It's hard to find any coherent argument against Juneteenth at all, because it's, hey, slavery was bad, right? Yeah, getting rid of slavery was good. Okay, there's no federal holiday in June. We're not placing anything. We're not taking anything away. We're not changing July 4th, or something like. We're just adding an extra day off. And by the way, it was Republicans who did this. Republicans were the ones who freed the slaves. Check. Everything is good. They're still mad. They're still pissed off. So I don't know.
Right. There's no coherent argument other than black people bad. Like that's the only reason that the libs did it, and we don't like black people. That's the only argument that I've heard.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was a clean way to do it, but the Indigenous Peoples Day is one of the worst. Also, because yours are placing something.
We did a holiday ranking at one point, right?
We did. I I thought about
the runtime of the show, like, it's not that a lot of it is spent talking about random holidays, but it's more than you would think.
Holidays are so great. Holidays are so great because, like, holidays don't exist in nature, right? It's not something that that's it's not a fundamental property. But every
rails, DJ, rails. Holidays don't exist in nature.
Well, listen, it's like there's certain elements of society that just exist across the board. Everyone does it, and like no one tells them to. No one's like, okay, we have our days, but we need special days where you don't work and where you have a party that are like mandated by the state. No one's giving this briefing. We're all like, oh yeah, of course we do that. That's just how this thing works. And but yeah, it's pretty funny. But when you replace Columbus Day, which is a day about colonization and savagery and slavery, and it's like, all right, we're gonna change it and celebrate the people who were colonized and who were enslaved and massacred. Like, ugh, I don't like the sound of that. It's kind of like when the Republicans or conservatives in general, they will say that we really need a team called the Cleveland Indians because this celebrates the cultures of the Indians. They know. No, sorry, you don't get to do that. As the people who terrorized the Indians, it would be like if there was a German soccer team called like the Frankfurt Jews or something. It's like, no, sorry, that's not going to work. You can't sit there like, oh no, yeah, we're here to celebrate those people. No, sorry, you don't get the chance to do that. Maybe it'd be okay if you named a helicopter after them. Like, I don't know if the Apache helicopter's a cool fucking name, but I'm like, are we okay with that? But it's so cool that I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, no, it's cool enough. It passes the cool test. Yeah,
Yes.
The right way to do it, by the way, is like the Florida State Seminoles. It's an actual fucking Native American tribe that gives their blessing, and everyone's happy with it. It's not that you can't have a team based off of Native Americans in any way, shape, or form. It's that the fucking Chief Wahoo logo was racist as shit. Like, it was just like, it's like if you just like had a team called the fucking Portland Blacks and had a fucking blackface dude as your logo.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad it was. And and by the way, that's also like when people say like you can't judge people by their time. That's what they're talking about, right? Supporters of the Cleveland Indians in 1928, whenever the fuck they get. I'll judge them as not racist. I'm not saying they were inherently racist. That just was how Indians were depicted at the time. And unless you did your homework and thought about it and were actively against it, like, yeah, I get it. I'll judge you by the standards of your time. Now in 2025, if you look at that fucking logo and you
logo
overcome with embarrassment
didn't age well.
That's problematic, guys. Like, how is that not embarrassing to you? It's fucking like the Commanders, the Redskins. Like, Commanders is a shit name. It's a shit team, shit organization. You can't have a team named that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It just is. And I don't know how anyone is embarrassed by that.
I have been bewildered by the name of the Washington Redskins since I was a child. I mean, even back then, it's like, wow, really? Where is there? And it's another one that's indefensible, and they try to do it anyway. Like they fight these battles, no one forces them to. And it's like, okay, you can concede an obvious. It would make you seem like a more serious person if you said, I can't think of another example of a team named after anyone's skin color. I can't. I would love to hear one or something.
It was a pejorative term for that group of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
When it was made and continues to be one.
Yeah.
Like, that's just insane.
Yeah, at no time was it ever acceptable. Like, you won't find a government document with like, white, black, redskin. It's not going to happen, okay?
Notre Dame isn't called the Fighting Mix, guys.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for that.
And sorry, what I was going to say, John, is I love it when John and I converge on the same correct answer over and over again, because having these fights with conservatives about these names of teams, they're defending everything and everything. But sometimes I get into our conversations with liberals or lefties, and we are on different pages here, because I said the same thing, John. Cleveland Indians, Washington Redskins, fuck no. That's crazy. That's insane. But that doesn't mean every like Indian-based name is I don't think necessarily like Atlanta Braves is super offensive, because it's like, that's a job, right? That's a job. Mm-hmm. That is it's like having a team called the Knights. That's fine, right?
Or the Celtics.
Say what?
Or the Celtics.
Oh, Celtics is a little different though. Celtics is a little different. Celtics is like Celtics was an ethnicity. Well, all right, so
Oh, I guess like
Celtics.
Celts. Yeah, you're kind of right about
Yeah,
that. That's a different thing.
I
That's a
was
different thing. I'll give it to you there.
so yeah, but I was gonna get to that, and then I find ones where I was like, well, in theory, if I was honest, it doesn't pass my criteria because the Celtics, the Boston Celtics, are named after the Celts, and Celts is kind of weird because when the Romans went to Britain in around 55 BC, somewhere around the time of Julius Caesar. Uh, they kind of confirmed the existence of the island of Great Britain to the Romans. Before that, it was kind of like this legendary area what no one was sure about. And the people in that region, what is now England, Scotland, Wales, whatever, they spoke Celtic languages. They weren't one group, but they all their language descended from the same one. So Celtics doesn't necessarily tell you anything about them because it would be like calling us German because English is a German language, a Germanic language. So but yeah, it just means like the group of people who originated from that island. And like, don't know if I like a team named after like a group of people. That seems wrong.
Like, I feel like with that one specifically, it makes sense because of how many fucking
Celtic people are from.
Are in Boston.
Yeah,
like that's like the people who lived there were overwhelmingly majority Celtic, and they made that name for themselves. Like that works for me.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
What I mean?
I like it. I like it. Heather commented, "That's right. Let's hear it for the whites. Let's give the whites a hand and their courage. We are bravely colonizing where no man colonized before. We made colonialism cool before colonialism was cool." Yeah, that's right. I will give them for the bravery. Like the bravery to do something like that is kind of insane. And what does Colby say here? A ton of Washington is named after Native Americans who live there. Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, they have unlimited names to use and said we must call them by their skin color. No, that this actually goes. Wow, you're right. Show. Just who knows what the show's going to be about, but that we have so
a while. So I'm glad anyone who's listening to this show right now. You're a true fan of the left.
Yeah, we haven't talked about politics once.
Content. There's nothing going on in the news right now. We're not saying anything particular. We are bullshitting about holidays and sports team names today. That is
about to bring up another topic here that's related. I remember as a kid noticing how much of the United States was named after Native American stuff. Like Massachusetts has got to be a Native American. If it's not, I'm quitting the show. Like it's got to be. That's definitely have to be one. Massachusetts, Minnesota. I think Wisconsin, and then of course Indiana. Like we have a state that's like Indian with an A attached to it. It's like, oh yeah, Mississippi. I mean, there's so much stuff named after Native American stuff, which on the one hand could be seen as honoring the people who this actually came from. Maybe it was already called that, or it could be just like rude, like rubbing salt in the wound or something like that. I don't know. I can see it being taken either way.
I think when you're talking about like state names and shit, it's just they've become the state names now.
Yeah, no change.
Like none of them are. If we had a state called Redskin Land, maybe we should rename
Redskin Land.
It kind of is what it is now. Woo! Especially like so much of it was originally from Indian names for things that became larger things. Like correct me if I'm wrong here. The Mississippi River was named the Mississippi River by Native Americans. It wasn't even by us, and then the area around that became Mississippi. Like that's how regions get named. How sports team get named, completely different story. And it's actually funny because I think this all ties into this concept I've been trying to put in a more pithy way. But I have noticed that this isn't just a liberal like a conservative thing. Some liberals do this too, but by far and large, I feel like conservatives have this idea that culture is a top-down concept. They want it to be like a sports team where they have a guy who says this is what it's called, and everyone's supposed to call that that now. And for the most part with sports, it works that way. No one really says Redskins anymore. Most people say Commanders all the fucking time because that's how that works. But when it comes to something like a holiday, it doesn't work like that. Or the Gulf of Mexico, or regional names for things. All of these things are bottom up. The government ends up calling them things usually because that's what the people already called them, and it just made them sense to do. That's why changing Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day didn't fucking work. That's why Juneteenth is still only celebrated by the people who were originally celebrating Juneteenth and no one else, despite the fact that it's a federal holiday, because these parts of our culture are bottom up, and conservatives are so fucking pissed that that's not how culture works when they have Donald Trump as their president. They want Trump to be able to say, it's this way now, we're celebrating Columbus Day, and they're like, we're so fucking back. And it's like, you're not even celebrating Columbus Day. You can't make me celebrate Columbus Day. It doesn't work that way. Culture works bottom up. And that's why, no matter if they're able to gain political power or not, they'll never be fucking cool. Because that's not how coolness works either. Conservatism is not, by definition, not cool. And it never will be. And they're always pissed about that. No matter how much power they acquire, they will never be cool.
And conservatives, you got to understand, we don't like this either. I don't like the fact that 17-year-olds get to decide what's cool. I don't think that's all right. I think that is totally backwards, that, coolness should be dictated the other way, but it's not how it works, right? And you either accept the world that you live in or fight fruitlessly to change that. I think that's really cool. And Trees Top commented here, as a Mississippian, I think it's rude. The river was named Mississippi or something like that. They tweaked the name slightly. Trees Top, first off, my condolences for living in the state of Mississippi. I did not know that you were listening from Mississippi because I didn't know they had the internet in Mississippi.
That's why he watches the show instead of reading our posts and stuff. Like he can't read because he's Mississippi.
He's talking into a microphone to get the comments out and everything. But yeah, I thought for sure Mississippi was still on like the telegraph and horseless carriages and stuff back then. I had no idea that the World Wide Web had made it to Mississippi. So I mean, don't tell anyone about this, Trees Top. They're gonna like burn you at the stake for witchcraft or something.
Mississippians, I hope you don't take too much offense. TJ just rarely encounters a state that he's able to talk down upon.
No. Listen, Indiana is a trash fire state, which I'm not even in Indiana right now. I'm in Missouri, also a trash fire state.
Yeah,
but listen,
actually worse. You somehow made it worse.
Yeah, it actually worse. But however, you're talking about two lower tier Midwestern states, better than your mid-tier southern states.
Mississippi is one of our worst states.
Mississippi is
by a country mile.
Yeah, like Mississippi. Oh, my God, like I feel like there should be like a UN watch for Mississippi. I thought there was one. I thought there was something from the UN that came out that said Mississippi and Alabama would be considered like third world nations if they were. But I'm not joking, by the way. Like I am positive.
They would be. Like Mississippi, if you look at like your GDP per capita, you look at your poverty rates, you look at your literacy rates, you look at everything, they suck dick. It's a terrible state. It's like take Louisiana and subtract New Orleans, and you have Mississippi.
Trees Top says, "Get your yucks in." I've heard better jokes than this. I mean, all you guys don't have time to do anything besides sit around and tell fucking jokes in Mississippi. You're not getting any work done.
You're in the SEC. You don't even have a good football team.
Yeah, it's just like, how can you be in Mississippi, like a state full of I guess like a Chris Rock joke of like poverty and black people and not have a good football team? Like, how is this happening? I mean, this is like the state should be crushing it. If anything, like Chris Rock had that whole thing about the lower you go in the socioeconomic ladder, the better your sports get. It's just like
So Trees Top, thank you for entertaining us. Trees Top, he says you can't think we're worse than the mid. Oh, you can't think we're worse than the Midwest.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You had Jerry Rice like a century ago. Congratulations.
You had
back in Christopher Columbus Day. You had Jerry Rice.
The Mississippian I can think of now who's like, isn't it Arch Manning who sucks? Right? Like he's
he's Tennessee.
Yeah, but aren't the Mannings from Mississippi? The Mannings are from Mississippi, right? Huh?
I don't know where the Mannings are.
Well, from. I know that Archie Manning in the 70s went to Ole Miss, and Eli Manning went to Ole Miss too. So I assumed they were from Mississippi.
Go Birds.
Well, I mean, they kind of sound like it, but originally, yeah. So the Mannings are from Mississippi, and your latest representation for a Mississippi athlete is Arch Manning, who's terrible. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. You got to go back to.
I can't believe he thinks he's better than the Midwest. Like that's like if we're talking like geographic regions of the United States. Here's the problem: the worst one is like the Sun Belt, but north. I don't know what to call it. Where like Idaho is and where Utah is, that's the worst one because there's nothing there at all. But the thing is, there's also not people there. The problem with the Mississippi in particular, that the bad South, all the South is mostly bad, but Alabama, Mississippi, like the
Louisiana,
real shithole states, they have a lot of people and also still manage to suck. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the other problem is that you have like Idaho and Montana, they're not great states either, but at least they have just vast expanses of natural beauty, just the handiwork of God just shown for everyone to see. It's so beautiful that people, like, for decades now, all right, we got to make sure no one touches this. Okay, we got to make sure that this is alive for our children and grandchildren. Like, they got to see this shit. There's nothing like that in Alabama. There's nothing like that. We're like, oh, we got to maintain, this Piggly Wiggly to make sure everyone can see it to the next generation. And like the stats are just so shitty. They're just so bad time and time again that I don't know. And also the best of the Midwest is like Chicago, right? Yeah. So which blows away like 99% of the rest of the union. So, when you got a jewel like that. Now, the best of the South is respectable. Atlanta, respectable. Houston, which I don't know. Texas is kind of like, I have a hard time counting Texas as the South. It's West. Yeah, it's West. Yeah, it's like it's West. That's like,
like Texas is the Southwest. They're not the South.
Yeah. Sorry. So boom, you lose Texas. Your stock is dropping already. So you got like Atlanta, you got Orlando and Disney World.
No, Florida ain't in the South either. Florida's its own thing.
Florida's
its own region. Texas is its own region.
You know what? You're right.
Distinct regions of the United States that are their own states. You can argue that like Florida, Bama, like that's part of the South, and I will agree with you. But for the sake of just classifying things, the state of Florida not in the South. And
I agree.
Agree with that.
I agree. Like the South, you have the South, which will be like the Carolinas, maybe Virginia, Kentucky-ish, and then you have the Deep South, which is going to be the worst of the worst, where you're going to have, the Mississippi, the Alabama, Louisiana. Then you have Texas is more south than Florida, and then Florida. So Texas and Florida are their own two little components, part of the South, like sub South. But yeah, anyway, like the best of the South is decent, but there's nothing that compares to anything.
And like, you have good food in the South, right? Like I've had a lot of good food in the South, but like the Midwest still has better food. Like, and it's bar none. It's not even fucking close. You disagree?
I don't know about that one, John. Like I would say that food is the only thing.
South has better barbecue. Like the things the South does good, they do better than everyone else.
Yes.
But like their variety is pretty darn limited compared to the Midwest, where it's just like everything is good.
I mean, yeah, and the Midwest has like, I don't know, pizza and
no, you don't have pizza. No, that's us. That's the Northeast.
That's so yeah, Chicago style pizza.
Chicago doesn't know how to make pizza.
It's not that great. Yeah, I don't know. I think the South will win. I think the South wins that one pretty hardcore. I would
collard greens, and they treat it like a real food.
Collard greens are disgusting. But listen, like they nailed it with barbecue. They nailed it with sweet tea. Like I don't know. Like I'm not a drinker, but I know they have some like drinks that they're really proud of. I don't know. I gotta give. As far as cuisine goes, I think the South is on top. I think it is. Like maybe you could beat it with like Southwest with like its Mexican food and everything like that. But no, I'm going South.
Southwest food is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
like. But here's my like Midwest food. Like to me, that's just like homey cheese made on a farm to table shit, like all that sort of stuff. Whenever I've been out in the Midwest, like that's what I'm eating. When I'm down south, the only good shit is the barbecue. Like genuinely, the only time where I'm like, hey, this is better than what I can get in the Northeast is barbecue and sweet tea.
Barbecue. They don't make sweet tea. They're also. I don't know. Maybe it's not original to the South. I always thought it was, but like biscuits and gravy, or
I just think that's like not very good. Like I agree, that's a Southern thing, biscuits and gravy. But it's just like I've had better biscuits in other places.
you've had better biscuits in the South. We've officially parted ways, John. We've officially parted ways. No,
the best food is in. I mean, the best of everything basically is either Northeast or Southern California. Like that's basically it when it comes to the best food, because the problem is that the Northeast has everything. The Northeast has absolutely everything. It has all of the world cultures. It has the best restaurants and everything. LA also kind of has that, and the Southern California in general. Everyone else still has like regional foods that they do very well, and those regions also have that. Like the Northeast has bagel, like New York has better bagels than everyone else. We got cheesesteaks over here. Like we have a regional food, and we have also the best food of everything else. So it's not even close. It's really unfair when we're comparing regions of this country.
I've heard enough. I've heard enough of this nonsense. You're gonna even like the Southern breakfast, which you just derided or whatever. But like having a breakfast of catfish and biscuits and red eye gravy or something, I would take that over the best. Would you get a clam chowder, a cheesesteak? Ooh,
we got lox bagel. Give me a fucking lox bagel.
Lox,
here's the thing, TJ. Here's the thing. Have you had a good New York bagel? Because I'm telling you, I don't want to admit this as a proud Philadelphian. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it anywhere else.
I'm sure.
I cannot get a good bagel except for in New York.
I'm sure it's very different than a bagel you could pick up at Albertsons. I'm sure it's very different.
TJ, you're being sarcastic. And I used to feel the same way. I was like, there's no way it's that different. It's that different. It's a totally different experience. This
is donut shaped bread that we boil. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna taste it's boiled bread. You know what? Fine. I don't even like bagels to begin with. I just think they're a very overrated food.
Yeah, because you live in the Midwest.
Boiled bread.
You feel differently.
Nah, suck my dick. You're throwing bread in the water and boiling it. That's great. Listen. Treetop says collard greens are delicious, you uncultured swine. No, they are not. No, they are not. I don't get it. I've never liked collard greens. Like, of course, growing up my family, everyone ate them. So this stuff is nasty. Then again, I don't like any vegetables that are cooked and slimy like that. Like, I will eat raw spinach all day long. You cook that spinach? No, get it out of my face. I don't want it at all.
I'll have cooked spinach. I'll sometimes have cooked vegetables. Vegetables in general, better raw. 100% agree with that. I'm not like a never, but yeah, collard greens, they're disgusting. I'm a very adventurous food guy. I will fucking eat. I will try anything once, like no problem. I could not have it like prepared myself for how bad. Like I was kind of excited. I was like, okay, I know this is a regional thing. I always love to eat the regional things whenever I'm traveling. And I'm like, collard greens. There we go. I'm getting my collard greens. Oh my God, I almost threw up. They were so bad.
Disgusting. John, have you ever had pickled pig's feet? You ever tried pig's feet?
I have tried pig's feet. Never tried pickled.
Did you like? Oh wait, they weren't pickled.
I just know they were pig's feet. They didn't taste particularly pickled to me.
I've never seen them not pickled. But anyway, I like pig's feet. I like pig's feet.
Pig's feet is one of those foods where I'm like, I like the taste, but it's just not the most easily eatable food. There's usually better alternatives.
All right.
But I won't knock pig's feet.
Yeah, I like pig's feet. I think they get a bad rap. Oh, Colby says Albertsons doesn't sell $9 bagels. You wouldn't understand. Listen, yeah, I got you there. Maybe I need to just like pay out the nose for one of these delicious New York bagels.
Wherever you're going, look for the cheap local rave spot. Like if you're paying an obscene amount for food, you're not getting the best food. Like it's just pretty much bar none. You got to find your hole in the wall. That's where it has the best food. Same thing with the bagels. Look for a good, reputable bagel place in Long Island or Manhattan that sells bagels for no less than $2 or no more than $2. That's where you want to get your bagels.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I brought this up.
We have 7. Like we're now up to. We've had like so few viewers. We're up to 7 viewers. I just want to like, if you're joining us right now, we're off the rails. Literally, ask us anything. We will talk anything. We just did about 10 minutes on fucking regional shit foods.
I meant to bring this up 10 minutes ago about the Native Americans and stuff. So, my old unit that I was in Fort Bragg, 3480A, we have our unit crest. And whenever you're talking about it, you describe what the crest looks like and you talk about what the symbols represent. So this is our unit crest, and it has Audacia in the front of it, which means by daring deeds in Latin. And then you have in the center, you have wheat, like from the Battle of Gettysburg. Our unit fought in the Battle of Gettysburg. And then in the back, you have, how many are there? Let me see. I guess a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 arrows. And those are from our unit's involvement in the Indian Wars in the late 1800s. And I just remember thinking, it's like, folks, are we sticking with this? Like, are we happy about that? I don't know if that's something that we want to brag about every time we introduce our unit. It's like, and here are the dozen arrows representing our times we killed the savages in the Indian Wars. It's like, probably a bad look. I don't know if that's still the crest, but it was when I was there, and it's kind of sad.
And it loops back to what we're talking about in the beginning of the episode, which is like conservatives just hate change on its face for no reason. Like they just change, they will oppose it. And like that's the kind of thing where she's like, what? I think the White or the Department of Homeland Security, someone tweeted out today or yesterday, I forget exactly. I'm like scrolling through my Twitter hoping it pops up because I don't know what to search. But it was like, we will not be, or your ancestors weren't bad or weren't bad people or something like that. And it's like, some of them were. Like, can we all just like agree that the American government has been bad guys before? Like, can we please fucking agree on this, that the genocide of the Native American people was a bad thing that we should be embarrassed by? And if our ancestors did that, they were bad people? Can we agree that slavery was a bad thing and every person who fought for the South in the Civil War was defending slavery and that's a bad thing that we should be embarrassed of? I don't know why people want to put this badge of honor on themselves of, like you said, we killed a bunch of, we helped with the genocide of the Native Americans. Go us. It's like, why do you, like, I struggle. I genuinely struggle. I really try, TJ, to engage with conservatives in their own mentality and try and find ways to change their mind about things from their own perspective. And I just can't wrap my head around the perspective of, I want to celebrate this clearly awful bad thing because it's part of what I perceive to be my heritage or my history or my, like, just, it has never made sense to me. And I do not know how to make sense of it.
Yeah, it is actually kind of disheartening because the longer you do this, like I'm less fired up about this than I've ever been. I'm talking about politics lately, because the longer you do this, you realize that, oh, I thought these people were operating from a place of ignorance. That maybe if I can just tell them how things are, they'll understand. Like, because that's what worked on me, right? I had my rules and my beliefs and my criticisms and my convictions, and then when I went, oh, my foundation for all this is incorrect. This is actually what happened, not this. I changed my mind. I thought it would work that way for everybody else, and it hasn't. And it's just like you talk about their resistance to change, that it doesn't really matter that things are wrong or that things are not the way they think. I had an example of this too. Fuck, I talked too long, but about them. Shit, I can't remember. But anyway, sorry, John. I had something I was going with there, but since we're running out of time, I wanted to show this clip with the TSA. Have you saw what Kristi Noem is announcing at airports? Her little speech.
I never watched the video, but I saw that she was making a video to play at airports. And I will say, I didn't watch the video. If this was something we could have always done, I'm very upset we never did it.
Okay, here goes.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. We will continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact your travel. And our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government.
All right. John mentioned, like, first off, like, he's upset that if this was always a thing we could do, he's mad we have. It's not a thing you can do. Like, it absolutely is not a thing you can do. You can't take taxpayer money for a department of the government and say, we're going to use this to trash another political party. It's a Hatch Act violation, and they do it anyway.
I mean, but they can do it. So they did it. So what? Nothing's stopping them. So therefore, it's okay. Like, that's how the law works, people. The law, whatever is written, doesn't matter. It's what you can enforce. If you can't enforce it, then it's legal. Everyone has known this from like a young age. I feel like maybe I'm weird, but it's like everything's legal as long as you don't get caught. Like that's the rule that we lived by as children. And for some reason, some adults thought that didn't exist anymore in adult life, but no, it exists all the fucking time. We see it across the board. It's not just the Trump administration. They just do it in the most public and dumb way possible. But like, bend the rules every fucking chance you can if you're doing it for a good thing, then I want you to do it. I want you to break every rule that you possibly can, as long as you're able to effectuate positive change. There might be guidelines you want to give yourself in order to make sure you don't hurt people, but like, yeah, I do think that like people were making a big deal about this, and I was like, I don't really give a shit. Like, if they can do it, let them do it. And we should have done it the whole time. I will say though, TJ, watching that video and just in general, Kristi Noem, every time I see her now, I'm just like, the boys is unfortunately spot on. Like, that is something from the boys. Like he's just like, why is this random superhero giving a speech for the TSA about whatever? Because that's exactly what you'd see the Deep giving this in the fucking boys. And it's like, why is Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, doing this random televised thing for the TSA in airports? Like, that has never been this person's job, but it's because these people were selected for their jobs as PR reps. That's what they are. And they're not actually doing their job. They are selected for their ability to appear on television screens and talk to Americans. And that's what they do. And that the boys called that years ago.
Yeah, I owe the boys an apology because I said that last season was too over the top, too ham-fisted. Nope. Boy, gotta hand it to Eric Kripke. The guy nailed it on that one. This is and what you were saying about how it's only illegal if someone actually punishes you for it is true, and everyone has kind of known that to an extent. It's kind of like war crimes are illegal unless the president does it, because who's going to punish him? Who? Are the Brits going to come back and teach us a lesson? Who's gonna actually do anything about it? But there were always like limits to what you could do in American politics, like to the other major political party. It's kind of like why Nixon went down. Like, there was like, okay, you can't break into the other major political party. Like, that we're all in this club, right? You can't, violate our rules. Trump has violated rules all over the place. We've never had a president with a cult behind him. Because like we talk about all the time that Republicans, like your established Republicans, they don't like Donald Trump either. They see him as the buffoon that he actually is. But they also know that he has the hearts and minds of tens of millions of Americans who would probably vote for Republicans, and they don't want to ostracize them or alienate them. So Trump gets away with literally, I've never seen anything like it. I don't think we'll see anything like it again the rest of our lifetime after Trump is gone. It's just something that it's kind of sad to see.
I actually disagree, TJ. I think
really?
we'll see it again
next.
Like, here's the thing: Joe motherfucking Biden managed to get this weird cult of personality behind him in Blue MAGA. Like, again, it's not Trump level at all, right? But just, I feel like the idea of the leader of a political party now is a cult leader. Like, that is what Americans feel like their political leaders should be. It's not across the board, but it's enough that I have total sycophants for, again, Joe Biden in my comments when I criticize him, which, like, it doesn't make any sense because, give Trump every insult in the world. He has charisma. I understand why he's able to get people to follow him. Joe Biden is a walking vegetable and really only walking some of the time. So I don't understand how anyone could have that devotion to someone like him. And yet he was able to drag the entire Democratic Party into aiding, not that they're totally against aiding a genocide or whatever, but like you read like what Kamala Harris says about how she was afraid to go against him as the candidate. Like it's just insane. And I can't imagine whoever's next won't also at least be trying to be that same kind of leader. And I don't know if one that isn't trying to be that is going to be successful.
I think, though, we have to think in terms of degrees here, because you probably don't remember too much of Obama's time as president. Obama is the closest that I've ever seen towards Trump, like as in the sycophancy and the, the rabid nature and the, devotion to a man. And it wasn't anything like Trump. And with Biden, for example, yeah, we've had people that are insane Biden defenders we've had the entire time. But like you said, it's not close to Trump. And I don't think they're even comparable because the Democrats did kick Biden off the ticket. That would never happen with Trump. Never. Trump could fuck a pig on live national television. He would still be the nominee for. I've never seen anything like this. And that's what I mean is that a man who is essentially exempt from criticism from his party and his supporters, I've never seen that. And Biden certainly not, because they got rid of him.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's a fair point you got there. I guess we will see, TJ, and
suppose so.
In hopefully 3 years, we will see if that is the case. But who knows? Who knows? Anything you want to wrap up with here, TJ?
No, not particularly. I put out some feelers for guests. Do we have a guest for Thursday? I'm seeing if I get Wiseacre on. We haven't had him in a while, and I like.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Wiseacre. We don't have anyone set for Thursday yet, so yeah, if we can get him on, I'm down for that. I'm also down for me and you show. And guys, I promise we'll prepare.
We'll have something. Well, yeah, this was a weird day. This is a weird day.
It's a weird day for everyone, and we're very happy that you guys stuck around with us while we just shot the shit for an hour.
We didn't even get into our thoughts on Veterans Day. We didn't even get to the next coming holiday or whatever. I'll tell you something.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Veterans Day. Yeah, so Veterans Day is a fun holiday for me because I know a lot of veterans and people in the military and everything like that. And veterans get real bent out of shape when you confuse Memorial Day with Veterans Day. They really don't like that.
I understand why. I get why that distinction would matter to me.
I don't. Listen, I get it because it's like, look, they're just saying thanks for your service. It's Memorial Day. It's like, hey, Memorial Day. Says, nope, that's for dead soldiers, not for me. Don't tell it to them. Go to their graves and tell them.
One of those losers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Keep that sucker shit for the KIA guys. No, it's like I was like, look, they're just trying to be nice, trying to be polite. They're not thinking about the distinction. And they're both military-themed holidays. What I don't like them. I wish that Veterans Day was still Armistice Day. So around like Western Europe and I guess other places too, maybe, but November 11th to them is Armistice Day, the day that World War I ended. And I liked it because it was on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. I thought that was cool. Why they chose 11, I have no idea, but that's kind of cool. And now it's just, it's Veterans Day now. So we're all veterans. Like, no, kind of takes away the fun out of it. But yeah, we'll get into that. Another random November holiday. But yep, that's all I got, John.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next Thursday. Until then, this has been The Left Wing. See you then.
Later, folks.